Most people don't realize this, but every food you eat turns to sugar in your body. And this is why you're not burning fat. Something like white rice turns to sugar fast, but something like this avocado turns to sugar much slower. Now, if you want to burn belly fat, you want to save this video. The faster your food turns into sugar, the more fat you're going to store. If you want to burn belly fat, you got to understand this. This is how much sugar your body actually needs. It's just 1 teaspoon. That's it. When you eat that bread and pasta, your blood sugar is going to spike fast. Now, your body has to release a bunch of insulin to bring that blood sugar back down. Now, insulin's job is to push all that sugar into your muscles, liver, and fat cells. Insulin is the gatekeeper that stores that energy. If you don't have any insulin, then you can't store the energy. And that's a type 1 diabetic. That's why type 1 diabetics lose weight. Unless they inject the insulin, they won't store the energy and they won't store the fat. Now, if you're not a type 1 diabetic and your insulin's always high, you're always going to be in fat storage mode. Because remember, insulin is our fat storing hormone. Now, think for a second how most people eat in a day. Wake up and maybe you have a bagel for breakfast. And then later on, you're hungry, so you have a snack. Lunch rolls around, you have some rice. And then for dinner, you have some pasta. Your blood sugar is spiking and crashing. It's going up and down all day. And your insulin never gets a chance to actually come down and you stay stuck. Look, that used to be me. I used to have these love handles that I couldn't get rid of and I felt chubby. But then I learned this and my body turned into a fat burning machine. And I did all this in just 3 simple steps. You want to focus on eating foods that turn to sugar a lot slower in your body. And the general rule is the more fiber a food has, the slower it turns to sugar. But you got to be careful. Just because a food is natural doesn't mean it won't spike your blood sugar. Avocados are going to keep your blood sugar steady. Bananas are going to spike your blood sugar. Any sort of white bread is going to spike your blood sugar because the fiber has been stripped out. That's why I always have fiber with my dinner. This keeps insulin low and it's going to allow my gut hormones to increase. That's going to slow down the digestion of my food, so I'm going to be fuller for longer. And it's going to reduce my cravings, so I'm not having any snacks. But if you don't have fiber, your gut is not producing those hormones and your brain is not going to control that food noise. And you're finally going to go to sleep, and when you wake up in the morning, your insulin is going to be low. And when I'm ready for breakfast, this is what I'm having. I'm going to have my love handles for breakfast. When you skip breakfast, you're keeping your insulin levels low and you're actually giving your body a chance to burn your fat and use your love handles for breakfast. And when you're in this fasted state, you want to cut out all sugar. You could have water, you could have black coffee with no creamers, or I like to have a tea. Nothing to add sugar to my bloodstream so my insulin stays stable. Now I'm going to teach you about this next, and this is the key. If you want me to go more in depth on this, comment fiber down below and follow along for part 2.